Having a small business means there are going to be tasks that you absolutely hate doing. For me, that's labeling my jars. I can't stand it and it really stresses me out. Today I'm going to be showing you how I label my jars, and I also have a labeling machine that I bought because I just couldn't deal with the stress anymore. So I wanted to do an unboxing and my first impressions of this labeling machine. Subscribe and hit the bell if you're a budding candle maker looking to start and grow your own business. You can also follow me on Instagram at Luna London Candles. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Ashani and I'm the creator of Luna London, a home fragrance company. If you'd like to check out my shop, you can find it in the description box below. On this channel, we talk about candle making and selling candles online. So to label your jars, I would recommend you have the following things. So some just paper towels that you can clean your jars with, and isopropanol, which is a rubbing alcohol that you can use to clean off any finger marks or dirt on the surface of your jar. I also like using these gloves. I think they're latex free. I'm not sure exactly what they're made of, but I'll link it down in the description box below. I really like them because they're not like fluffy gloves, which will like leave any fluff on your containers. They're just kind of, I don't know if they're plastic, but basically they're really good and they stop your fingerprints transferring onto your jars, which is what you want. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean out my jars. So this is the rubbing alcohol that I use. I just got it from Amazon, and let me just go ahead and open that. Okay, so the reason you want to clear out your jars is so you don't have any like dust or anything that will interfere with your labels, and also just to make it look super clean. I don't know if you can see this, but I have fingerprints kind of on my jar, which really drives me mad, but rubbing alcohol will definitely help me like with this. So I'll just pop that there. I like to go ahead and just fold my tissue paper. And there we go. And then I'm just going to put a generous amount on my tissue. And I will go ahead and just rub it over it. And it dries really quickly. But basically my jar is completely clean. And I will just let that dry. It pretty much dries instantly. You don't have to wait too long at all. So it dries really quickly and it's basically like done already. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's a lot better than what I had previously. So I'm gonna set that down. So this is my label here, and they just come on a roll of paper. So I'm gonna go ahead and like take you back out so we can see. So now that my jar is clean, I'll show you how I put my labels on. I don't know how conventional this is, but basically I use 2 books to help secure the candle in place. So I'm just gonna be using any 2 books, and I'm gonna go ahead and just place it down. Okay, so just a bit of a close-up of the setup that I have. So as you can see, I'm right at the edge. This is just the side of the island, and it's pushed up right against the end of, like, so if you have a table, I would suggest just using your table, put it flat down and wedge it between 2 books to help you keep it stationary and stop it from rolling all over the place. So today I'm going to be labeling up Libra candle, and just so if you're interested, this is a close-up of the label. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and remove a label off the reel, and to do this I find it best to not have any gloves on. I usually only use the gloves when I'm actually working directly with the jar, otherwise it's not really necessary. So I'll just take that off, and basically I'm gonna go ahead and just peel it off. There we go. And what I want to do is basically aim for the center, and I like to rest my fingers on the book as well, so that moves a tiny bit. Sorry about all the dodgy camera angles, but I want to kind of give you a good close-up of how I'm doing it. So now that I've aligned my label in the middle of the jar, I'm gonna go and put my gloves back on, and basically it's time to then smooth it out, and I'll show you how I smooth it out so I don't get any bubbles. You can kind of see why I absolutely hate doing this, because I feel like it's just really kind of fiddly work, and I'm the worst at fiddly work. So I'm gonna go ahead, and this is basically, you can see here, I've not stuck it down, I've literally just placed it in the middle. Now what I want to do is go ahead and take my thumbs and basically join them up either side of the jar, and then press down in the middle. And I want to keep repeating this motion and moving my way across. And I do this really slowly, like I really take my time with it, just to press out any air bubbles. I just don't want to have any of them in there. And I just keep doing it either side. And there we go. So you can see one side is done. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. And there we go, and then I just go ahead and smooth it down across again once over, and there we go. So there you can see no air bubbles anywhere, and yeah, I think that's a pretty good, looks aligned to me. Yeah, that's how I do it. So I hope that's the last time I have to label a candle by hand, and hopefully this new machine will help me a lot. So let's get unboxing it. So it's kind of heavy. Here we go. So just a little bit about this machine. I got it from Amazon, and it was kind of the only one like I could find available in a reasonable price point. It was under £300, but I used American Express points for it because it's very unlikely I'll be traveling anytime soon this year. So it just felt like it was a good investment to make. So let's just go ahead and unbox this. So there's definitely a lot of parts, which I don't know if I geared up towards, but it's basically like a semi-automatic, so that is everything. It looks a little bit scary, but hopefully my mechanical engineering will come into play. I'll go ahead and just grab scissors and cut this open. So it feels pretty sturdy and heavy. So this took me the good part of 5 minutes to do. I finally have it out. To say it's well packed is quite an understatement. There's a ton of, it seems like cling film here, but I'll go ahead and just unpack the rest. Okay, so I finally got just rid of the packaging, which was a mission in itself. I'm gonna go ahead and put this together. I will come back once it's all assembled, and let's go and test it out. Okay, so it was a bit of a mission to get all of the packaging off, but I finally did it, and I'm ready to go ahead and assemble all the components. There is a video that you can see on Amazon of how to assemble the label making machine, but you basically get everything with it, like all the little components, and you get an Allen key for each size of bolt that you're going to be securing in. So that's really handy. I don't think you need any additional tools like a screwdriver or anything like that, just in case you don't have one at home. So I'm all set up and almost ready to label the first jar. Just from putting it together, it wasn't actually as hard as I thought it was going to be. To be honest, the hardest bit was actually just getting the wrapping off. But once I did that, it seems pretty like, there were no actual words that I could find for the instructions, but basically the video kind of shows you, like, you just have to keep replaying it and following along with it. So I think we're finally ready to label our first jar. I am super excited. So hopefully this will be a lifesaver and I won't have to label by hand anymore. I will put the stats of this machine, like how many labels you could do like in an hour or something like that. But I'm sure this is going to improve my efficiency so much, because I mean, you saw how I was doing it before and it takes absolutely ages. So let me go ahead and label the first jar. So basically, I haven't labeled my first jar yet, and after all of like the work putting it together, I realized this is not going to work. This is really silly of me, and I should have like actually realized this before, but it's not gonna work, unfortunately. So I still have to label by hand, but let me show you why it's not going to work. As you can see, my labels are coming in, so obviously they're the right way up, and if you can kind of see there, it's basically, this is the bottom of the label, so it's this part here, the Lunar London bit. But if I'm going to go ahead and put this sideways, I'm basically gonna get the label being put on like sideways, so it wouldn't make sense. So I'm gonna have to figure out a different way to maybe set this up, and I'll feedback what I figure out, but at the moment I'm like stumped. I don't know what to do. It's such a shame because it looked like it was gonna work really well. It's just the orientation that I kind of need to figure out, and so I might do an updated video if I can get it figured out. But thank you so much for watching. It's a shame that it's such a fail, but let's see, maybe I can figure it out. But until next time, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.